The best Star Trek episodes operate as brilliant short feature films, and the first episode of the original series to rise to this level is the Corbomite Maneuver. A superb script, excellently directed and ably performed, the Corbomite Maneuver is one of the greatest justifications for the fundamental Star Trek schema of all time. Although it might be a bit odd to show to a newcomer in the 21st century, it is a relatively slow-paced, by today's standards, piece set mostly on the bridge of a ship with an oddball twist at the end. However, both of these things are hallmarks of classic Star Trek, a methodical, tense drama between two vessels set in deep space, and a very bizarre, sometimes surreal sense of humour, usually related to some genuinely alien species. I think the experience of watching the Corbomite Maneuver is one of brilliant tension and captivation. It's quite an achievement to have you feeling just gripped by the drama and tension. Again, as I said, solely taking place in the bridge of the Enterprise with this ominous-looking alien on the screen there. And, of course, we all know the payoff at the end. That iconic reveal is utterly classic. It reminds me of a prototype for the even more brilliant, we'll get to this later, Balance of Terror, although in that episode it's added by the fact that we do see the enemy ship, Romulans, iconic. But with Corbomite Maneuver, it's all speculation, and all we get is that one image and its messages communicated to the Enterprise itself. We know nothing of what it's thinking off screen. And I believe that it's a demonstration of how you just solidly directed episode. You get the bridge of the Enterprise does not get too stale. I think it's something which even the next generation wouldn't dare to do too much, because it couldn't imagine itself pulling it off effectively, or perhaps even if it did feel that way, it kind of knew that audiences weren't willing to accept it. But given the, I guess if you want to put it like this, lower standards, limited standards, sort of more, I guess, banal and sort of binary standards of 1960s television and the Western world at that time, these grand sort of overarching, frankly dull sort of narratives and like dramatic structures which inform everything in sort of a tedious high school English class manner. The Corbomite Maneuver was a brilliant apotheosis of these sort of formulas, imbued within the science fiction context, a more progressive, creative form of writing which eventually sort of explodes the culture outward, and then we get these more techno-aesthetic pieces wherein it's fundamentally, whilst you can have strong writing at the core of one of these pieces, it can be a very existentially charged and elastic piece of writing that doesn't just conform to structures that we just identify and like nod our heads at. There's these strong writing can sort of be catalyzing enormous and sort of revelatory methods which the visual compositions display. The point is, we're watching these things, not reading them, and I think ultimately what really draws us into these works as time goes on, and we can critique the scripts of these things all day, we can point out and complain about these scripts of modern Hollywood films, modern television, or whatever you're talking about, don't adhere to this structure or that structure. At the end of the day, it's about that sensory, techno-aesthetic experience, whether you want to admit it or not. And we do admit it. You'll be in a much happier place, because there's a reason you're watching / complaining about visual media rather than reading their scripts. Thank you very much.